Thank you for joining the Music Is first part series. I'm going to do a very quick intro and then I'm going to bring in our first live guest, who is Young Warrior. So thank you for joining the Music Is series. As you may or may not know, I am Tali and I am the founder of CAYA, which stands for Come As You Are. And I'm a sound system, one of 3 female sound systems in the UK. Tali, aka CAYA, Come As You Are, everyone knows me as. And I decided to start this Music Is series really because obviously the times that we're currently in, because of what music means to me, and because of the industry that I'm in. And so I thought, if I'm feeling like this, then I'm sure most of the people that I know who are in the industry are feeling the same way. So I decided to reach out to a few of the entertainers, inspirations, etc. that I knew. And here we are at the Music Is series with my very first guest, Young Warrior, who's actually the very first person to give me my first live show. So yes, I'm so happy that he has joined us, and yeah, is my very first guest. So I will give over to the man himself, Young Warrior, who is not only a sound system and the guy that gave me my first gig, but also producer, son of the legendary Jashaka, and a legend himself. So here we are. Greetings, bro. How you doing? How you doing? Tell the people who you are, and yeah.
Well, greetings, everybody. My name is Young Warrior, as many may know or may not know. Sound system owner, music producer, entrepreneur, event host, promoter, DJ, all of those kind of things. And firstly, big up yourself, T, for doing this. I'm always here supporting any young entrepreneurs or anything young to do with reggae music. People know I've always fought for that. So big up yourself. I've firstly obviously wanted to say condolences to all of the people who have passed during this time. It's been a difficult time. Most recently, obviously, I spoke to you earlier, Baggy from Unique Sounds record label, a good friend of mine, you know, person that I knew for a long time, played with him, had the pleasure of playing with him and, you know, his mother, Nafia, and all of that. So condolences to the family and friends and those who knew him. So big up yourselves, young people, man, do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's obviously a very trying time for many reasons, especially us in the live industry. And obviously people are passing. There's so many deaths that we, as you said earlier, were discussing.
Yeah.
But I think it's for us who are here to kind of keep the energy as much as possible alive.
Yeah.
And despite, you know, there not being live venues, etc., that we keep this energy going. And that's really one of the main reasons why I decided to do it, if I'm honest. But yeah, no, it's definitely a time that I don't think we'll ever experience again. So yeah, big up for those who are with us, those who have passed, condolences to their families. But yes, music is. What is music to you? What is music to you? How has music impacted your life? Let's go from the beginning. It's a massive question, right? It's a very big question, but yeah, music, how has it impacted your life?
It's very weird. From birth, I've been involved in music, and I've always loved music, and I've always been about music from a young age, banging 2 notes on the keyboard, to, you know, drawing images of places or me on a stage at a concert when I was like 6 years old. You know, my father keeps all of these drawings, and my family always knew that music was going to be my thing. I always aspired to be in the studio making music, creativity. And I do it without effort. You know, some people, their skill set requires, you know, a lot of effort. With people who are creatives don't necessarily need, you know, we just do it instinctively. Like I wake up in the morning, have bass lines in my head, I sing melodies, walking around the house. So it's not effort for me. So music is definitely within me. And that's a joy and it's a pleasure, you know. It's a good thing that we have these kind of skills, you know, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It can never, it can't be taught. Vibes can't be taught. Knowing where to come in on the beat, we know these things that we don't necessarily have to know the theory. It's just
Yeah.
within us.
It's innate, absolutely, absolutely. And I suppose, obviously, despite it being innate within you, obviously, where you're coming from, you know, your household growing up, being born into the household that you're born into, it would have had such a huge impact on your life. But as you said, it's a skill set that I don't think can be taught. And don't get me wrong, it can be learned, but there are things that just naturally, and, you know, it's why I'm so happy that, you know, we've connected and that we are as we are, you know, because you inspire in so many ways, especially for this generation. So tell me about your first recollection of music that you can remember. Where does it go back to, and what was it?
It would go back to the typical Sundays. It's typical Sundays where you know your mum's cooking, dad's playing music, going through his record selection, and standing there for hours. I just remember him standing around the turntable for hours, just like a session, but it's like at home, just going through records, market records, and you know, and then mum's like, "Oh, bring your dad a plate of food," type of thing, and she's finished cooking, and some dumpling and some plantain and some beans, and you know, and you give him, and you sit down, and wrestling might be on or something else might be on, but that was our kind of day. It may be special to some, but it wasn't really that. It was nice to have that kind of vibe in the household where, you know, it was great to have, yes, two great and amazing parents, which definitely, I have to say, has shaped me and carved me into who I am. That's been amazing. But yes, those are my kind of early recollections, and obviously my parents must have seen I was musical. I have a picture of me in a baby grow with music notes all over me. So that was even from one of the first, you know, when they take you, I think my mom took it Safeways, which is now Morrison's.
Wow.
One of the first baby portraits. Yeah, the little first, mad. But yeah, I don't know, it was just from that time.
So,
but I've loved it.
yeah. So very early on, basically, very Sundays, and that whole energy and atmosphere, as you said, both your parents have given you something that's, yeah, it can't be denied. And I think being born into households where music is such a huge thing, it's undeniable, you know, that it will become part of who you are to some degree. You know, whether it's that you become a musician, a singer. I think all the people that I know that are performers in some way have had that those very early years of being completely absorbed or surrounded by music.
Yeah.
You know, so how did you get involved? Obviously, we know that your dad is Shaka, and that's huge in itself. But how did you personally get involved? We know that, or what you've described is that you demonstrated what that was from a very early age, or being musical from an early age. But what was it that said, you know what, I'm going to do this? Because you could have done anything, but you chose to do music. So what was it? How did you get involved?
Well, a lot of people would be surprised. It was more so my mother than my father who kind of done the push and the support. My father was busy being Shaka and doing his thing, and at that time I grew up in the 90s, so this was kind of peak time for sound system culture, and for him, you know, he was playing at the Rocket, he was playing in Vauxhall. My father was everywhere at those times, the whole kind of, and that was the whole time of like rave culture and sound system and jungle music and bass music was 90s, you know. So it was more my mum that was kind of pushing me to do training. She got me a drum instructor, so I learned how to play drums, and then I was kind of learning and training on how to I was doing trombone lessons at school, secondary school, and then after school I'd go to the Lewisham Music Academy, which is now MIDI Music in Deptford, for after school club music, which is a music academy after school. So I'd be there from like 3 o'clock till like 7, 8 o'clock in the evening with like-minded young people, artists, singers, and all of that. And being there, and I met some of obviously my dad's friends is Deptford, it's the ends, it's Frontline, and they knew me, and we'd be in there, you know, jamming, and we had the run of the whole place, you know, instruments and studios. It's still there now. So that's what I done that, and then I went on to obviously secondary school, Deptford Albany, training, more arts and creative training, it was a lot of after school and before school, but I didn't really notice it. The thing is, when you, like I said to you, when you love something, the effort isn't necessarily effort. You look forward to going. I looked forward to going to these after school clubs
Oh,
and these things.
do you think it was nature, or do you think your nature was to naturally get involved, or do you think it was that push from your mum, or do you think no, it was actually in you, or it was with your mum's encouragement, or a bit of both? Actually, it could be both.
It's like what I say a lot to people. You can have a skill
Mm-hmm.
and may know how to make fire, but the thing is, I want to make fire better, know how to make it quicker, know how to actually manually make fire and do it within 10 minutes. So I knew I had a skill, but my and the sharpen it to make sure I was the best at what I was doing. It wasn't to know that, oh, we're going to teach you how to do something. It's how we can better how to what you do. So going to classes and learning how to read music, learning different instruments and how they are used. It all plays a part in the music that I produce today because I know how a trumpet is played. I'm not going to play a trumpet because a man can't play like that. A man can't play a trumpet like that. You've got to play certain things how certain things are. Like the tunes that I make, like the drums are played as I'm a trained drummer, but I always think to replicate that on stage, yeah, a drummer has to be able to play it. So why am I going to make music that has all quantized hi-hats and all of these kind of things? When it comes to a concert, they won't be able to be played. Doesn't make sense. So all of that kind of theory of knowing these kind of things, and then also learning, I went on from secondary school to college to learn about music business, music theory and sound engineering. And that was my first kind of, not really first, but it was my first in-depth learning about copyright contracts, all of these kind of things, and knowing about the business. So I saw my dad do.
I think that is what I really, really appreciate about you, because it's like it's everything. It's the whole package. Like, people obviously know you as Young Warrior and the sound system, but you're actually a very astute businessman as well. Like, on so many levels, it's like all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and I think it's so important that you demonstrate that, and that, you know, it's part of what you do and it's part of what you encourage. It's not like, it's like you've definitely, you have made it better. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I look to you and I think, yeah, I definitely have to make sure that is on point, you
Oh, well, I
know?
think we have to, because we are in the music business, and as much as we like music, we still have to do business. Whether we're producing, we like to make jump up tunes. When we go to sell those tunes, that is business. When we answer artists the voice and a rhythm, it is business. When we anything that we do, or even me even speaking to you now, is business. I need to know how to speak to you. I need to know how to interpret my words. I need to know about my diction and pronunciation. And these are all things which encompass about knowing and sharpening your skill set, because it's not just one thing. It's not just one thing.
It's not. And I think it's so important, especially in this day and age where we are our brands. You
Yeah.
should say. And what we do is not literally just one thing anymore. I think it's so critical that things are on point, because we have to learn from those before us, where, you know, record producers took, and, you know, people weren't compensated, etc., etc. So no, I think it's so important that we do that.
And the thing is, we have all of these resources at our fingertips. We all have Google, we all have Siri. If we don't know something, we can find it out within a couple of minutes. So there's no excuses anymore for any artist to come along and be broke, or have a hit and not earn royalties, or not know about certain things, know about copyright. And I know a lot of, it's sad to say, within our industry, because we do with reggae music, which is so ethical, people kind of see business as a Babylon system, you know. And that's another thing that I've come up against everywhere I go. When I talk about business, people kind of find it like it's a negative, like we shouldn't be concerned with that. However, then when you see like artists like Yvonne Sterling dead like 2 days ago, and all of these artists die poor who sing songs, people want to cry out and bawl out. But then when we're talking about artists getting the right royalties, or things being signed up to PRS, and, you know, and payment, what artists deserve, it's like people don't want to be associated. I don't get it. It's a double-edged sword in our industry, and I think it's something that I've definitely been I've come up against, because a lot of people find it hard to deal with me, because I go by the book. I do go by the book, and I
No, no,
think
no. It's
it's fair
important.
to do that. So
Absolutely important. And as I said, I think you've definitely raised the bar when it comes to sound system and business, because it's like we cannot continue to do things as they have been, because what are we then? You know, it's just literally, there has to be progress. And you are an example of that progress. And
oh,
I
you're
thank
an example as well, T. Don't bother, don't.
Thank you. I do try. I do try. I am trying. And no, I think for me, how I see it is that music, or especially sound system, has lasted, you know, in this country, decades. But in order for it to last another,
Hold on, we've been lucky, T.
yeah,
We have to really check it. You know, we had dances where, you know, a whole heap of smoke is going on and a whole heap of things is going on in these venues. Do you understand? We got a good fly of many, many years, and we
exactly.
can see things are tightening up. So what we used to be able to get away with, we can't get away with anymore. And
Yeah.
it's not saying that we have to stop what we're doing. We have to adapt in some way to exist. Or
Yes.
if we don't adapt, have our own places, have our own licenses, have our own venues, if we're
No,
going to talk
absolutely.
about that.
No, it is so important. And I think that, yeah, in order for us to really demonstrate what it is, sound system, for example, we need to be advancing. We need to be taking it to the next level, you know, because it's been around decades, but if we want this to be another 50, there has to be innovation, there has to be change. And as we discussed earlier, there are things that I'm putting in place and hoping to do as an extension to the CAYA brand, as an extension to the sound system world, as an extension to, you know, music and myself. So no, it's important. So important.
I think there's going to be, unfortunately to say, I think there's only going to be a few of us which will be able to make that change as young individuals, because a lot of the people that are in power, as in within our music, are the elders. And we see the elders are passing, we see the elders not being able to grasp what is actually happening in this kind of climate that we're in, and the climate even before all of this kind of stuff. There is few, because, and I'm not sure I can count them all on both hands, who are kind of young individuals, especially Afro-Caribbean, and especially here in the UK, that are going to be able to do anything, unfortunately, which is very sad. So it's a lot of weight on our shoulders, as the young individuals in this thing. And we're getting on. I can't even say I'm kind of young anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm a middle-aged man now.
Honestly, it does come. But no, I think as you rightly said, it's not something that is in abundance anymore. And so we have been and continue to be fortunate. But I think that's why it's so important for us to be examples. And I was actually thinking about even the term entrepreneur recently, and how I kind of came to know about it, say in the last maybe 5, 6, between 5 to 10 years. But then, you know, so the notion was quite new to me. But then I actually started thinking about sound system operators, and I actually thought to myself, well, no, entrepreneurs, the sound system operators who found a sound system in this country are actually entrepreneurs. Do you know what I'm saying? They were just now advancing on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like their main thing was entertainment. But as we've discussed, the business element wasn't that, you know, refined. But I think now what we're doing and have the skill set and have the tools to do, we can really make it much more and expand and take it to the next level.
It's going to be hard for us though, T. Like, I can tell you the amount of years that I've put in and the amount of money I've put into just even running events. I've been running events since 2009. I've been doing after carnival parties. I've been doing dances everywhere. And if somebody don't book me, I put on my own dances. To get what I'm saying? There's a lot of financial spend and expenditure that even I throw out there, which is, as a middle-aged man, young person, whatever you want to look at it, is very difficult. And we're all here on our own trying to kind of keep sound system alive, keep reggae sound system, dub sound system alive, without any financial support from our elders. Do you get what I'm saying? And that is something which is, I think I'm not going to speak against them, but that I think that is something which is very difficult, because if the elders want to kind of keep it going, they need to get behind the youngers. And we're here by ourselves kind of doing this kind of thing, and it's very difficult. And I know, you know, as a fellow entrepreneur, it can get you down even sometimes, you know, and struggles to think, God, I've got all of these ideas, but I just need $1,000, or I just need $2,000, or you just need that.
Honestly, I'm trying to think how I can make 10K real quick.
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm saying. In a way, it's good. In a way, it's good because we're not getting, you know, it's not falling in our laps. So we're having to struggle. But I just think, gosh.
And be creative, you know, because despite it being, you know, a challenge, we are doing these things, you know, like when things are up and running, we are putting on events, we are expanding what we're doing. So it's not easy. And as you rightly said, there isn't enough support, especially in the dub sound system arena for us and reggae music as a whole. So it is about trying to, yeah, as much as possible, push, you know, which we continue to do. We so continue to do. But yeah, tell me. So if it wasn't music, obviously times are hard, and we know we're going to get out of this. It's just about keeping that energy up whilst we can, and for as long as we can. But if it wasn't music, then what would it be?
Well, I've always had transferable skills, so and I've always identified my transferable skills. I know what I can do. I know what I'm good at. And a lot of my skills companies love. You know, I'm able to stand up and host the show, or I'm able to communicate and do PR and marketing, because these are kind of things that we do and have to do anyway with running events. We have to do PR, we have to do marketing, we have to do advertising, we have to know we need to know about logistics, we need to know about timekeeping. At the BBC, my thing when I was working at the BBC was literally, I could show you pages and pages of call sheets, which are basically, I have to organize teams from all over the UK, no matter where you live, transport, as in whether it's taxi, train, public transport, flights. I've got to book all of that kind of stuff and make sure who arrives on time and make sure there's a parking space for that person and whatever food that person wants and whatever parking that is, if that, because we have to do like a mobile classes. So we have like massive like Arctic lorries with mobile classrooms and studios. We've got to make sure that there's parking spaces for these people. We've got to make sure it's near. All of these kind of things are, you know, so I understand it's transferable skills and knowing how to kind of use our skills that we have got to kind of earn a little bread, put our skills to use.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I don't know what. So I don't know. I wouldn't say what it would be specifically, but I know I've got enough skills that I can survive.
No, so it would still be within the industry, definitely, because from what you've described, it sounds like very media, very PR, but still quite music. Well, not music, but yeah, entertainment orientated. Would you say?
But I think, and then I think, if the government ever knew what sound system encompasses, it encompasses just to have a sound system and organize about 5 or 6 box people to actually drive a van back and forth, to sort out budgets and sort out, you know, to promote a dance and all the team buildings, the amount of skills that are found within electronics, sound engineering, knowing about power, knowing about sounds and knowing about ohmages, all of these things. It's a sound system university. To when being a sound, you learn so many different skills, and you don't just learn them alone, you learn them together. It's enterprising. This is why sounds can break up and one guy goes over here and builds a sound and one guy goes over here and builds a sound. You know, we have so much skills in just running a sound system that a lot of people think, you know, you just set up a few boxes. It's
If only it was setting up of the boxes, if only. Honestly, when I think about the moves that I've had to pull, from driving to setting up the sound to, you know, holding the mic to just dealing with, you know, people, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we ourselves are our business, you know, but as you said, we are enterprising. And so
we're always working. And I always say, you know, I think I said that to my parents a long time, because I think my mum wanted me to wash. My dad told me this. My mum wanted me to wash her windows outside, and I said, "Mum, but people are gonna see me. Like I can't do that. Like I'm working. Like I can't be seen to be doing things." But because it's true, because I think, yeah, and I did do it actually, but it's at the end of the day, we've got to understand from we step out, people see us. We're working. We've got to be approachable. I couldn't be walking on the street vomiting everywhere, drunk, and all the thing, and then boom, boom, you see on internet. Do you get what I'm saying? We're always working. We have to know how to carry ourselves.
No downtime. There's no downtime, especially when, yeah, you are the face of your brand, and it's a lot bigger than the show on the night and, you know, people attending. You're always working. I definitely agree.
Yes, it's difficult. It is a difficult thing to kind of get that balance, and people don't necessarily understand that. And you've always got to be approachable, even when you're upset or whether you're in a bad mood. You still got to be approachable.
So I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to ask you about, obviously, you've been in industry forever, as well as, you know, being born into it. But would you say there is a song in terms of, yeah, that's made a significant impact on your life, or you can really recollect at that time you had an epiphany or something? Can you think of a song, or are there a couple?
There would be a long list here. I'm telling you, there would be literally a long list of songs, because a lot of the songs, mostly, I would say, are my father's playlists. You know, a lot of the songs that my father plays, as much as they resonate with him, they've stopped resonating with me. And I find reason in that, because I now understand why they resonate with him, as in the sound, the frequency, the vibe, the feeling. Like, so even though people may say, oh, I hear those tunes all the time, when you play them, it's like your sound just changes.
Yeah. Nostalgic even, it brings up different things, you know, like it might just be you play that song but where it takes you, you know, in that moment.
It's an era, especially reggae music, because reggae music is not like pop music, as in all pop music sounds the same no matter when it was made. We have an audio and listening and texture timeline within our music, as in we can identify when a song was made in the 70s just by the crackle of the vinyl, or just by an echo, or just by a reverb, or just the mic, how it's voiced. There's every studio has its sound from the 70s, from Channel 1 to Studio 1 to Duke Reed to Pablo Rockers. We have an audio timeline of the music that we listen to, so we can easily just literally time warp into an era, which is something which a lot of music which is made so professionally up until high standard that you don't even know when it was made or where it was made. And this is the thing that we are very lucky to have as independent musicians, that we have a sound.
Yeah. Yes. No,
and I think that's not really why it takes you back. I think that's not really why it takes you back, because it was made then, and everything within what you're hearing, when you listen to Scratch Perry's stuff, you can imagine yourself at Black Ark Studio. You can visualize him at the mixing desk, you can visualize the phaser, you can visualize every part of what's happening. So it literally takes you back.
So true. And I think for me that I do have a few, but I think it's probably, yeah, there are a few which I can say this changed me, you know, kind of.
Tell us then, go
on. It's Abyssinians and Declaration of Rights, and being at Carnival, and it was crazy because
what year?
I believe it was probably about around 2012.
Yeah.
2011, 2012. And I remember being, obviously now that I'm older, I can navigate Carnival, because it's like, you're no longer just going with, you know, your parents or what have you, and you're not going to, you know, you're just not following floats. You've actually now carved out what you're going to Carnival for.
Yeah.
So you're by the sound, and obviously you're there and you're holding a medley, taking in the vibes. And then a tune comes on and you just think,
you forget where you are.
There are no words to describe when Declaration of Rights came on, and I was just like, I think it was soon after that I decided I'm going to build a sound, because I thought the energy of the people, the music, the sound system, I just thought I've never experienced anything like it. Never, never, ever, ever.
Was that literally when you decided?
That was the next day. That night, I had a dream that I built a sound, and it was like an all-female.
Mad.
And the sister that I was there with, I phoned her and I said, you know, I had a dream that we had a sound, and she was like, and you know what? We can make it happen, and we probably leave it a lot tidier than the men them after we finish playing. So we had a.
Why you reveal your secrets to that?
Honestly, that's exactly how the story goes. Exactly how the story goes. So, Declaration of Rights, Abyssinians, definitely changed the way I think it was the start of my education into roots music. You know, there have been treacles of it throughout. Obviously, my dad had a sound, but my dad was really a lot more lovers and rare groove, and so you don't really get it the same way. But when you start dabbling into it, my education started before then, but the actual moment, I would say it was then. Definitely, definitely, definitely. So for me, there are songs in different genres even that move me. But in terms of what kind of changed me, yeah, because songs can impact you, but songs that change you, that was a song
Do
of
you
mine.
think if you heard that, if you heard that sound on that song, sorry, on a normal PA, say you heard it at a christening, say you heard it at a rave, would it have been the same than hearing it on a sound system?
No way, no way, because it's like it's uh, it's definitely an equation. It's like it kind of how can I describe it? It's an equation of the energy of the people, the sound system, the sound operator. Um, it's almost like an electric in the air. Do you know what I'm saying? Like why sound system cannot be, replicated. It's because it's like it's an equation that you can't actually
Work
even
out.
quantify. You know what I'm saying? It's like you cannot quantify.
Quantum physics.
Yeah, exactly, exactly that. So I don't think if it was like at a christening and you kind of like just doing your thing and the song, it would have been nice because of the people that you. But in terms of hitting you, that kind of sweet spot that is often referred to, that is something that I think sound system does uniquely. That no other genre. I think it kind of other genres get you, but when sound system hits you, it's like you're a changed person, basically. You're a
So
changed
it's the
person.
medium, and that's the thing. It's say like how you have TV and you have radio, you have sound system. It's very important and it's very different. A lot of people, they make sound system music where it has to play on the sound system for you to actually hear and feel what I'm making as a producer. It sounds, and because when you take it home, a lot of people think sometimes that my father's playing dub plates and he's just playing a 45. But but from what it's going through, the process that it's going through preamp and amplifier and speaker and scoop and all of that, it's like you're listening to a different song.
Completely, 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 completely. And I think, you can't even, something as I've described, it's not something that you can actually pinpoint, but it's almost magic. That's how I would describe it. It's magic that happens, and you can't quite put into words what happens, but something definitely happens. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if there are any questions and see if there are any questions. But if not, then I'm going to round it up and ask. I can't see any questions. Someone's just said frequency, but no, I can't see any questions, so to speak.
Answer some. Answer some.
Answer some.
Ask for some.
Oh, okay. Any questions? Any questions?
Yo, people, this is your timing, I believe.
Exactly. This is your time. You've got young warrior here. It's not a ten a penny kind of thing. Young warrior.
We don't do these things too regular.
Okay. Young warrior, when will you play in the UK?
When Boris said so, unfortunately, you know, we're in a pandemic. Unfortunately, this, you know, it's a hard time for sound system. We've got to talk about it. You know, sadly, we see a lot of sound systems selling their equipment and all of these things. So it's very, 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 very sad. Um, I don't know how a lot of sound systems are managing, because obviously they've got storage bills to pay, and they can't keep their sound in their living room. Their wives will be going mad, their partners will be going mad. So it's a sad time. So unfortunately, when we can and when we can gather as normal, or whether it's a virtual thing, but we love to gather as normal, because sound system has to be heard and felt. When we can, we will.
Thank you. Right, I saw someone ask, can I come and help set up one day? I don't know if that's for you or for me, but no, absolutely. Whenever I'm out, I'm always up for people learning the skill of sound system and setting up. And so, no, I'm more than welcome to. So, yeah, if that's for me, absolutely. Young warrior.
Yeah, definitely. I'm this year, you know, it's been a good year of reflection. And I'd like to definitely get more young people involved in the sound system, or just more people who are kind of interested in sound system around myself, and around what I'm doing. So we will be doing. It was there. We are going to be doing I am going to be doing a good, like, little recruiting thing when things are back to normal, because it's generation to generation, you know. So I would love to get like-minded individuals to get on board, man, and experience what we experience. The traveling, it's a great thing, you know. It's not for the light-hearted though. It's not for the, like, we work some hours, we hit road on tours like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we sleep in the van on the motorway sometimes, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's the real thing.
Could be a real thing, but it's an experience that you can't get anywhere else, because you become, you know, you become part of everything that's happening. And so, yeah, no, definitely next generation needs to learn more about it. And obviously, we're forever innovating and taking it to next level. So
We
yes,
need to, if we are to survive too.
we have to, has to be done. So, next question: what's next for both of us? I'll let you go first. What's next for you?
No, T, you just answer. I just answered one. You.
All right, what's next for me? It says for both of you, but what's next for me? So obviously, Kaya sound system going hard, hard, hard for the past few years. But what's next is the launch of Kaya Audio, which I'm not going to say too much about, but that's coming later on this year. And as we've discussed, it's really about taking it to the next level and about encompassing the business aspect of sound a lot more, and trying as much as possible to inspire the next generation, but through a different medium. And demonstrating that it's not only about, you know, these big speakers, but we are entrepreneurs. What we do is entrepreneurial. And so making that really, really as much as possible attractive to the next generation, to show that, you know, you don't just have to sing or produce, or there are other aspects that, you know, can be explored. So that's what Kaya Audio is going to be about. Not saying.
I would love to know why people shy away from the business aspect and the more than the behind the scenes. I would love to know why people shy away from that, or kind of not want to do that, because they have to understand there's to put on a dance, to give you guys sessions, to give you guys the sound that you need, or the sound that you even want. There's a lot of logistical or hard work that goes on before even a van turning up outside a venue. And it would be good for people to kind of support that and get interested in that, because that is the key. Because at the end of the day, if we didn't have those things that go on behind the scenes, you wouldn't have a dance to go to. If the venue wasn't booked and somebody didn't send a contract, there's no venue, there's no dance. Do you get what I'm saying? So even if your thing isn't, and I spoke about this in the many of the talks we've spoken about, T, if there's business that needs to be done, you don't have to be a sound system operator. You don't necessarily have to love reggae music. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of WhatsApp amplifiers. If you as a person are good at organization, if you as a person are good at graphic design, you can help us, or help the sound system fraternity. If you're good in accounting, or you have an accounting job and you know, you have a favorite artist or whatever, lend your services to them. A lot of the managers that we have and a lot of the booking agents that we have aren't sound system people, and they're not there playing the sound system, but they organize, they have skills of organization, they
Yeah,
contribute towards the artist.
definitely. It's that is so true. So true. Right. Next one in a nutshell. It's going to be quite a big question. So if you can just, yeah, make it concise. But what made you get into sound system? So obviously you spoke at the very start about getting into music, etc. But what made you build Young Warrior Sound System in a nutshell? Because that's a big question, right?
Yeah, I felt I needed to. For
Okay.
me to build my sound, I felt I needed to. It was obviously expected. You know, I started on the road as a DJ. You know, playing in places, and I started to do my own dances. I was playing at Brockwell Park Lambeth Country Show, and I started to do the after parties, and there was PA systems and that. But I think it was just expected that I was gonna come with a sound. So I kind of came with a sound, and obviously I was producing music, so the sound system was my vehicle, was my speaker to actually let people hear what I was producing, because they were getting good responses on other sound systems. Before my building my sound system, Aeration Steppers would play my music, Tasha Buff would play my music, obviously Shaka would play my music. Um, a lot of guys, Tablet sound system, a lot of guys had my music and they were playing it out. They were getting good crowd responses. So I thought, you know what? I need to, you know, I need to do something about it. So
Yeah.
creating my own. So the music that you hear can only be kind of heard on my sound, and it's my thing. It's my voice, and yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's really huge. Music. Yeah, sound system being your voice. That's it's massive. When's your next release? Do you know? Have you thought about that? Is that okay? Okay, when's the next release? That is undisclosed info right now.
It's not even undisclosed tea. You know what? The thing about it is, we as creatives can create every day, especially music producers. We create music without even thinking sometimes. I can sit at a computer or be in the studio for a day and create about 5 or 6 albums. It's easy. So sometimes I have to stop myself from creating, and remember, I have a life to live. I have bills to pay. I want to, you know, I go to the gym. I have certain things going on. I can't just sit and be making music. And I think, you know, over the years, I've made so much in a massive archive of music from the ages of like 15 and 14 up until now, that I don't necessarily have to keep creating. You know, there's so much stuff that are there, and I'm literally sport for choice. So I've invested in myself. I've got out of a lot of creativity out of me, and it's there. And that's my kind of, if I'm ever poor and I need some money, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Right. I'm not gonna because there's quite a few now. What is the most valuable lesson you've learned since starting your journey in music?
Go on, T.
Yeah, I would say the most valuable lesson. Whew, that one is a big one. The most valuable, I think, self-belief, definitely self-belief in what it is that you do, because as I described earlier, going from just that moment at carnival, hearing a tune, you know, having a dream and then manifesting it, you know, that took a lot of self-belief, because it's like, it's not like I said, I want to become a DJ, you know, something very different to saying I want to become a DJ, to kind of building, designing and founding my own sound system. So most valuable lesson is, I think you have to have self-belief. And another valuable lesson, me personally, I never compete. I dominate what I do. Never compete. That's what one of the most valuable lessons I've learned. And that has allowed me, don't get me wrong, there's been times where I've wavered. But one of the key things that I've learned is it's about dominating what I do, what CAYA does, and advancing on that, and not kind of competing or comparing with anyone else, just slaying in my own lane, so to speak. So that's what it is for me. How about you?
Talking about self-belief, I think that's a part that definitely affects a lot of young sound systems coming into things. It's a very intimidating industry. You have a lot of strong characters that you can be up against. You have a lot of strong opinion from people who think you should do it this way, you should do it that way, and how you're doing it is wrong. You know, you have to be of a very strong character to believe in what you're doing. Otherwise, your head can literally spin to where you think that you've come up with a way of doing something, and yet people who have been in the industry for so long are then telling you that you're doing it wrong, even though sound system is, like I said, your own voice. I would say, the thing is, okay, our journeys are different. As in, people may think I've had it easier because I have a father who is in the industry. However, I would say it's been even more difficult because I have an expectation put upon me before I've even said anything. And people don't necessarily understand that. People think, oh, you've got your dad and it's just easy, the door's just open. But people need to understand that the door will be there, but only if you're good can you even go through or even last. You know, I could be somebody's son, and I could be Dennis Brown's son and say I'm a singer and sound rubbish. Do you get what I'm saying? It's true. No, but it's true. No, but it's true. It's not about who you are. It's about if you are good at what you do. It doesn't matter about if you're son of this or daughter of that, or my uncle is flipping Jimmy Cliff or whatever. Yeah, that will maybe have somebody's ear to listen, but it doesn't mean that you're good. I can close my ear back if you're rubbish.
Right back. No. It's
so our journeys are different, but yet the same.
It's so true. So true. Right. Last question. It's actually about one of your tunes. Let's have a look at what
I did see it, T. I did see it.
You didn't?
I did.
Okay.
It's not my tune. I love the tune. It's a tune. It's great, but I don't control the tune. I just pass on the tune as a sound system, and you know, I know the producer and I know the singer. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes concerning that track. I don't know nothing about it. I was just a person who was given the tune to play, to promote. Whatever else happened after that. I do not know. I'm not involved in the actual recording of that tune.
Cool. Right. Well, we're going to round it up there. We've answered as many questions as we can. Obviously, this series is called Music Is. For me, music is the answer. Music is my therapy. Music is my peace. What is music for Young Warrior? Music is
me. Music is my life. Like, no matter what I do, no matter what 9 to 5 I may have, no matter whatever I do, you will always still can sit me in front of a keyboard and I can still bang. So music is something that you can't ever take away from me. I love it, and it is me. And there's just some people that are blessed with certain skills and certain abilities, and music is just me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Blessings. Well, thank you, people. You've heard it live and direct from Young Warrior himself and myself, Tali. And thank you. That was the first in the series, Music Is. Catch me next with the next guest. Thank you so much. So much, Young Warrior. And yeah, catch us on our pages at Young Warrior, at Audio by Tali Lotus. And yeah, keep the faith, keep following Sound System. Big up.
I'd like to say, people obviously support young artists, support young sound systems if you can. Show your curiosity. You can have the sounds that you love and the people that you love, but also be curious to find out what other people are doing and what people are up to. There's a lot of gems out there that we don't want to miss. There's a lot of gems out there that need your support and need your love. Even liking a few of their posts is great, you know, because there's not a lot of financial ability out there for people to boost their posts or to do a lot of advertising. So if you like something, do talk about it, do spread the news, talk about sound system, talk about the new sounds that are out there. And yeah, have your favorites, but also show love to the youngers, man. Please show love to the youngers.
So thank you for mentioning that, because yeah, that's how
support Tali. She's there. So anybody who is on my page that didn't know about her, actually, Tali, you haven't spoke about yourself and your journey. How long have you? Come on, you haven't said.
You know what? It's about you. But no, my journey. CAYA was founded in 2016, right?
And CAYA, but you haven't even said.
honestly, I'm going to have a live all for myself, and people are going to be able to ask me all the questions. But I wanted this to be about my guests and what music is to them. But I'm
I
going
just
to
want
have
people obviously on my side to see who you are.
no, absolutely.
So
So you can make it happen. You can put together your live, and I'll be there. You can interview me. How about that?
you're on it now, T. You're on it now.
Especially for me. So yeah, no, Kaya's been around for 4 years, 5 years now. And yeah, I'm one of three female sound systems in the UK, founded by
Say that
myself.
again. Say it again.
One of three female sound systems, one of only three female sound systems in the UK.
You heard
And
that? You heard?
yeah, it's huge. What I do is amazing in terms of where I've been able to really take sound system, and I think what I've done in 4 years is really mahoosive. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have a live of my own, and I'll be able to tell everyone all about it. So if you don't already follow me, follow my page now, obviously from Young Warrior, and yeah, you can find out so much more about me. Blessings. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah?
Guys,
Big
I
up.
hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed. Big up yourselves.
Yes.
One
Take
love.
care.
Bye.
Good.